Hey, it's Matt with GolfCartingTV. I am standing here at the Golfin Garage where these guys make these amazing custom Bronco golf carts. We're going to find out all about them. Let's jump into it.
I'm Finley. I own Golfin Garage. We're located in Jasper, Georgia, is our manufacturing facility. Always had a passion for small business. I've worked for small businesses my whole life. I come from the automotive industry. Spent 10 years in the automotive industry. Learning that ins and outs, and then spent some small stint in the small engine industry, becoming a master mechanic for several different motor companies. After which I decided to start business for myself in 2020, and we've been going strong since then. Well, when I first started business, it was a little bit of a flounder to try to find my particular area of expertise, or my niche, if you will. So I spent some time doing custom golf carts, ground up builds, a lot of repair work. Never really had too much of an interest in just typical retail sales. More so was always interested in the customization aspect and trying to build up the options that customers could choose from. And realistically, ultimately, my passion was I want to be able to tell people I can build anything. So building the general custom carts was definitely a fun experience. I definitely scratched the itch for me, but I kind of felt like I wanted to get into something a little bit more, maybe just for me. And I had a friend who later became a customer, who owned a classic vintage Bronco, and he was going to get rid of it and say goodbye to it. And he had expressed to me that he was going to miss it. So I asked him, well, hey, do you want a small version of that? Because I'm pretty sure I can build you one that's going to look really cool. And he agreed. And then we built the first Bronco. It's kind of a passion project. Took a few months, and ultimately it came out great. And that's kind of what started this whole thing. We're fully focused on the Broncos. It's the number one thing that we do. It's pretty much the only thing we do right now.
So Finley, this thing is awesome. So we're looking at a stretched version. So tell me, just give me the gist of what's included when we're talking about a Golfin Garage Bronco build.
Cool. So standard features would be it's going to come with the 6-inch lift. So this one is on a Navitas chassis. Starting in 2026, we're going to be moving to our own chassis. So that's what customers can look forward to, and that's going to be standard on each cart. So it'll come with the 5 kilowatt, 600 amp motor and controller. Comes standard with the Bolt Energy 51 volt, 105 amp hour battery. Comes with standard with the rock lights in all 4-wheel locations. Comes with a 500 watt marine grade sound system, and a few open rocker selector switches if you want to add accessories in the future. Very plug and play compatible.
So walk me around, if you would. Just kind of walk down here and just point things out. What are we looking at whenever somebody's just starting here?
Yeah, so this is a based on the 1970s model Bronco. So it's got the cut fenders, which there's a difference between the 60s model and the 70s model. It's got the cut fenders. This one has what I call the Ranger line paint pattern on it. So it's just got that one underline on it. We, as part of our upgradability to our product, you can do bumper and roll bar packages. So these bumpers and roll bars, we make them in-house. They get double powder coated, whatever color that you're choosing. Typically we'll do the dash in that color as well. Sometimes we'll wrap the dash in vinyl. It depends on what the customer's asking for. This one has our drop down tailgate feature. So the tailgate actually drops down to be the foot platform that you'd step into. And it's also got the vintage radio package. So that comes with real Bronco products. So we buy the bezels and knobs from a company called Disruptive Resto Mods. They make real Bronco products.
That's cool.
And it's got the F-Series Huntington radio, which is from Retro Sounds. That goes in like the resto modded Bronco products. So we try to keep it very original.
And when we're looking at the stance of it, so relative to wheels and tires, you talk about it's got a 6-inch lift. Are the tires options, wheels off, like all that stuff is optional, basically, depending on what you want.
Included in like the standard package, we do a 25, 10, 12 with either a machined aluminum or a steel wheel.
Is that what this is?
This is a 20, I believe these are 26, 11, 14s. Yeah, so 26, 11, 14.
A little bit bigger than the standard.
A little bit wider.
Yep.
And it also opens you up to the 14-inch wheel options, which we just basically send people right to mods and say, pick out your wheel.
Got it.
At that point. Same thing with the seats. You know, we like the mod seats. So we send them right to the seat builder and we say, build your seat. Tell us what it is.
And these I see are customized with the engaging or embroidery. So is that something that is customizable as well if I wanted that option? Or is that
if you wanted to put the Baker family or something like that on it, or if you're a Georgia fan, you know, you could put those things on there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And talk me through flooring and these other options that we've got.
So the flooring options are varied. So we kind of just put a black boat foam material floor mat as a standard option. This teak wood mat's like a small upgrade, but we also have like a one step further upgrade, which is again, from Disruptive Resto Mods, they make an upgraded floor mat material that goes in like you would see in a real Bronco.
Okay.
And it's a nylon plastic woven material. Looks really, really sharp. And it covers the whole floor mat.
And then from a stereo system, there's a base level package with that, and it ranges as far as what you get speaker wise and that kind of things.
Yeah. So included in the standard package, we do a 500 watt marine grade sound system with two 6.5-inch LED speakers for the 4-passenger. When you go to the 6-passenger, we just go ahead and put another two 6.5s in there.
Okay.
And then a step further than that would be included in the vintage package would be the Huntington radio, which is a little bit of a better sound and gets you access to AM, FM options if you're that kind of audio person.
Yeah.
We have subwoofer upgrades, and we've done crazy sound systems for people before. It just depends on if that's your cup of tea or not.
Okay. Now you mentioned in some of our conversations earlier that you mentioned the radio, for example, but there are parts in this that are not necessarily golf cart parts, but they're actually car parts that you've integrated into the system. Or to the build. What are some of those pieces that are like that?
All of our push-pull knobs for the vintage package are all the way up to 100 volt rated. And the reason I did that was just for like if somebody wanted to go crazy, you know, I didn't want to go down, always just make the product to where the customer's needs might be. And obviously we've done work with Skunk Works Lithium on doing some crazier batteries before. We did a 85 volt, 280 amp hour battery once for a customer.
Yeah, that's cool. And like mirrors and headlights and things like that.
The mirrors right there are actually the 1970s Bronco mirrors.
Really?
The headlights are, we use the 5.75-inch LED motorcycle headlights.
Okay.
With the halos and stuff, because I think they look good. But there's a particular headlight that's produced by companies for Bronco restorations, and this was the closest headlight that I could find to that headlight.
Got it.
So that's why everything on here is very intentional.
Very cool. So from a customization standpoint, people can pretty much get whatever they want, correct? I mean, so I'm looking at this. You said the color whenever we walked over to this. So
yeah, this is Azure Gray, which is a 2023, I think is the original date, or actually it might have come on the original package, which we put it at 2020. It's a 2020 Bronco color. It's a newer color, but we can do any color.
Any color. So if somebody they're a Tennessee Vols fan, it can make it Tennessee Vols orange or whatever they want. And then you mentioned on the trim package, this particular one has kind of the traditional Bronco I forget what you called this.
It's called a Ranger stripe. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty common paint pattern in the Bronco restoration world,
Gotcha.
which is pretty much where my sole focus of like learning about what the product should look like comes from. But if somebody wanted something absolutely outlandish, I'll do
flames and
flames,
who knows what. Whatever you wanted.
You know, even if it's not a Bronco, I don't.
Sure.
I just want to do stuff that's cool. I have a tendency to say yes, and it gets gets me in some hot water with.
And you were telling me about one project in particular. Give me an example of how crazy somebody might get with something like that.
So one of the fun ones is going to be we're going to do. So we already came out with what we call the Overland bumper package, which is just a little bit of a more rugged style off-road looking bumper with some D-rings and a spot for a winch. So we're going to be doing that winch on there, but they also asked for a snow plow. So
nice.
I said, okay, you want a snow plow? You got it. And we're going to figure out how to put a snow plow on the front of it and make sure that it's going to actually plow snow.
Right. And the controls and all that, you'll make it work is the idea there.
But we'll also try to make it look appropriate. You know? I don't want to put something in a vehicle that's not going to look like it belongs.
Yeah. So when it comes to the body itself, obviously there's a standard to which you use, and it's, there's a frame that you've created this template, if you will. Where does that start from? It's a fiberglass? Is it what does that all look like when it first comes out of being birthed or whatever you want to call that?
Great question. All the fiberglass is done here in-house, just back over there. So we do start with the mold. Since coming into possession of the molds for this product, I've since changed it pretty heavily from what other people, even in the industry, might have access to. We've integrated the grill. We've changed the back so that we could add storage compartments for people. We've made it a little bit more accurate as far as some of the shapes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then finally, I've actually added a hood storage compartment as one of our options. And we also got rid of one of the most common things that people will see on builds like this is that fiberglass windshield. And it just was not cutting it as far as standard goes. So our current windshield is all steel construction. It's welded in-house, seam sealed, double powder coated, and then sanded and painted.
That's awesome. You've mentioned in-house a couple of times, the fiberglass stuff, the welding. What I understand is everything is here, right? We're in Jasper, Georgia. Everything's done here.
That's 100%,
right?
Yep.
And then especially when you build your own chassis, even literally everything will be.
We start from raw materials and then finish with the product. It's pretty much where we are. Yeah. Currently we do buy the chassis from Navitas.
Okay.
But when we move to our own chassis, that's going to change too. And that's going to be done in-house, and, it's going to be up to our standard. And, we've already done a lot of testing on that. So I'm confident for a 2026 release.
Awesome. And what's a typical time frame of if somebody pulls in, because obviously if everyone's custom, they're not just sitting on a show floor somewhere and they say, I want that one. So tell me what that process looks like and how from a buyer perspective, I'm watching this video, I'm in love with this thing, I want to do something about it. Was it happen from the time I show interest to the time I get my cart delivered wherever I am in the country or wherever?
Great question. Yeah. So as much as I would love to carry inventory, we're slammed with custom builds all the time. So pretty much customer's journey will start at, the point of purchase, and about 90 days later, they'll receive the product.
Okay.
So from that 0 to 90 days, there's several things that happen. We don't force people to lock their color choice in until about day 30. We want them to go home, sit about it, think about it, make sure that this is actually what they want, come back to us, maybe deliberate a little bit, and then day 30 we're gonna do the paint.
Okay.
And then at day 60 we're gonna get an introduction to the warehouse. We're gonna make sure that they don't want to add anything else, and then from 60 to 90 they're gonna get several updates until their build is done, and then we're gonna ship it out. And we ship these from Washington State to California to Texas, all over the place.
Okay. That's cool. In that process, obviously people they get information online to start with. And we'll have a link on the description to go there as far as getting some more information there. You said you can go anywhere, so that choice is virtual, but they're usually seeing stuff on your website, or they may have seen one, somebody has one, and that how they get to. But it's basically like buying a Tesla online. You basically just kind of build it all, go through the process. There is a physical call. I understand, like you guys will talk through with them, what they're expecting.
So when we sell these vehicles, we want to make sure that every single customer is treated, very, very well. We want to make sure that they are basically taken care of from the moment that they have the first call to the moment that they get the vehicle. It's a very hand-tailored experience. So we'll hop on a virtual call. I'll tell you what's included in the standard package, just like we kind of did talk about. And then I'll go through all of the different, upgrade packages that you can choose from that are just kind of in the pre-made, if you will, kind of like ideas of how you can pick from. Bronco. Yeah, what you can pick from. So you can get a Bronco that looks, something like this, instead of having to say, well, if I can choose from anything, I just don't know what to pick. Right,
it can get a little overwhelming if there's too many options. And
so we have a team of people that help you do that and help you make that decision to make a decision that ultimately the customer's going to be happy with.
Okay. And you've mentioned a couple of times, there's kind of a base level up to, craziness, but what's kind of an average or starting price to an average range of somebody if they're investing in something like this?
Great question. So 4 passengers will start around $21,500, and they can go up to whatever it is that you want. I'm not going to tell you no. It's the answer is always, well, it's going to cost something and it's going to take time. So I'm definitely not in the habit of saying no.
So we're talking 21.5. Your average is mid 20s,
most
mid
customers,
to upper 20s, something like that.
Yeah, tend to spend about $26,000 to $25,000.
Yeah. So if you're getting into this thing, you want to know, you're not buying a new cart off a show, that's $8 or $10 grand. This is a custom build specific for them, whatever they want. It's from there.
If they were inventoriable items, things might be different, but every single one of these is built to what you or someone else decides, that they want.
Yeah.
Especially when you show up with one in person, the reaction is always, what is that? Or, it's a tiny vehicle. That's crazy. And, obviously we get a lot of photos. As far as the market goes, we've expanded into digital marketing space several years ago, and it's done extremely well for us. We have a lot of people that are very extremely happy with the vehicle, happy with the purchase. We are booked out to middle of March of 2026 right now, in November of 2025. So, people are signing up left and right. Current capacity, and as of last year, we built up to be able to build 100 vehicles for 2025. And this next year in 2026, we're looking to build at least 200 vehicles. Probably, I would really like it if we built 250. Yeah, the bigger number, definitely a loftier goal, especially comparative to last year. But I think, we have our new chassis coming in 2026. That, I think, is going to set us apart from other golf carts in the industry. No other golf cart, as far as a manufactured product, is going to have what we have on our chassis. And then also having some other options for customers. So they're not just stuck to the Bronco. We're working on a Defender, and we're also working on a Blazer right now for production, for manufacturing. So that'll be a retail product that'll be available probably in 2027. Most excited, I think, is our chassis coming in 2026. We're going to have stuff on our chassis that no other golf cart is going to be able to copy or have as far as feature-wise on it. And then we have several body kits that are coming. So we're working on a Defender body kit. We're working on a Blazer body kit for 2027. That's pretty exciting. And then another exciting thing would be, right now we have a large focus on national sales and internet marketing sales. But we want to shift that to bring the Bronco into communities that are around us, specifically in Woodstock, just down the road. So we're looking to open a retail location there that's going to focus on bringing the product to people that are in those communities so that they can also enjoy it and have closer to home service. Well, the next step is to get in touch with one of our team members so that they can build out a vehicle that's custom to you so that we can find something that's ultimately going to make you happy. And you can do that by going to www.golfingarage.com/GCTV.
That is awesome. That is so much fun. This thing, I mean, it rides smooth. It is, it looks awesome. I don't think you can get much better. Nope. Very cool. Well, that was cool. Was excited to see what goes into this thing. The fact that it's all American made and 100% customizable is so cool and so awesome. Make sure you go to golfingarage.com/GCTV. We'll have a link in the description, all the details you need. Jump into this thing. If this is something that you want, make it all yours and have a blast with it.